So Zonta really did come into play there. Michael tried to defend the line and then chose to go the long way around Zonta.
Well, it was incredible. it was incredible.
Welcome to the DRS Zone Podcast. Daily racing stories.
Holy mac and cheese balls.
From guests who probably know more than you, or think they do.
No, Mikey, no, Mike. That was so not right.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Listen to stories well known. Lesser known. And never told. With another episode of Daily Racing Stories today. Now, here's your host, RJ.
We are back. Welcome back, everybody. No, the DRS Zone Daily Racing Stories has been lacking, but with good reason, we are finally back here. So let's get into it. Well, no preview episode this weekend, and if you're listening, it's possible the races actually already occurred. Before we get into one of the greatest overtakes, that snippet you listened to about 2 minutes ago, greatest overtakes in F1 history that actually happened almost 20 years ago to the day, let's talk about some of the changes that we all learned and saw or are going to see this weekend. The full list per the FIA regarding Spa's changes is pretty immense. But long story short, we have multiple changes on multiple turns, new barriers and debris fencing. We have new track surfaces from beginning of curbs. We have additional gravel runoff areas. And going with these changes, the first of 2 DRS detection zones, point 1 being 240 meters before turn 2 with the activation at 230 meters after turn 4. At the same time, the second detection zone, 160 meters before turn 18, and activation being 30 meters after turn 19. Wow, that was a lot. Long story short, has Spa lost some of the fabric of what it was going into one of the most iconic straights and corners in Formula One history? To be determined. But let's go back to this historic circuit. We have heard so much regarding Spa possibly being off the grid, which would be a shame. A lot of individuals in the F1 community view Spa as being one of the 4 corners or cornerstones when it comes to racetracks in Formula One. We do have news coming out that we do know it's going to be on at least for next year, 2023. Let's throw it back, though. Race aside, changes aside, one of the greatest F1 overtakes in history. And why is it that Häkkänen's overtake on Schumacher is hailed as one of the greatest in F1 history? Well, here you have it. The year was 2000. The race was set to begin at Spa, Belgium. Due to wet track conditions, the race had to be started behind a safety car. Mika Häkkinen got pole and started the race from the front of the grid, while Michael Schumacher started behind him at 4th place. Häkkinen blasted off into the distance once the race started, maintaining a great lead over the drivers behind. Unfortunately for Häkkinen, Schumacher's car caught up at lap 13 and spun. Schumacher was able to overtake him easily and take the lead of the Grand Prix. The next 22 laps of pure talent and skill, no DRS cheat codes here, folks, brought Häkkinen back into the front of the pack. Schumacher slowing down his car because of heavy tire degradation helped Häkkinen make his way back. Schumacher holds on, defending him turn after turn. One of the turns, Häkkinen tried to make a move on Schumacher to pass him, but Schumacher made a heavy block and managed to contact Häkkinen's car. Häkkinen's McLaren took some damage in the front wing, and Häkkinen backs off a little. Then it happened. The next lap, as they're passing back marker, Zonta, Schumacher moved to the right of Zonta and Häkkinen to the left. With Schumacher away to the right, McLaren roars past to take the lead of the race. He kept his cool and lead for the rest of the race and won the Grand Prix with Michael close behind. If you have not seen this overtake, there will be a link in the description. It is one of those moves where I think if you see it, it's got to be one of those iconic moments in F1 history. I'm not talking Michael Jordan flew Game 6 against the Utah Jazz, for anyone who knows that reference, but a move nonetheless that is pretty much synonymous with F1.
I think they're going to pass Zonta on another part of the racetrack because that's what gives Hakkinen his best shot. Schumacher in dirty air, and then Hakkinen with the extra straight line speed. And once again, look, Michael's having to defend, and Mika, and the back marker's in the way. Can he do it? Yes, he's done it. A brilliant move there, either side of Zonta, and Hakkinen brilliantly takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix.
So there you have it. Mika Häkkinen ends up winning the race back at the 2002 Belgian Grand Prix. Is it the greatest overtake in F1 history? Remains to be seen. At Spa, I think you can definitely make that argument.